This might be a little hard, but I guess if anybody could tell Pat Foley story to me, there's just what I want to tell you. There's nothing to it. It's just a memory. One day in the spring, it had been raining and we were coming down Pennsylvania Avenue. This kind of sums Pat up, really. We were coming down Pennsylvania Avenue from the Beltline to the top of Marlboro, and there was the most beautiful rainbow across the road that you could ever imagine. I was about 5 or 6 years old. And I said, Pat, you know, at the end of that rainbow, there's a pot of gold. Caught me a little off guard when he said, which in it? You know, that sounds, that brings back a lot of memories to a lot of people, but that's how his mind was. He was a good kid. You know, needless to say, I miss him. I'd like to thank everybody for coming out. It's very heartwarming for me.
Wow, I wasn't expecting to do this on microphone. So when I moved to Maryland in 6th grade, it was such a vast, different world from Virginia. I remember sitting at the dinner table and talking to my parents about this kid, Pat Foley. And we would be crying, laughing at some of the stories that he told. And then I ended up being really, really good friends with Pat, but back to the dinner table, my mom reminded me of a story from Pat. So we were at the dinner table, and I said one day, you know, I don't know if it's one person, but they keep on calling the Foley's number, and they keep on trying to order pizza. And Pat was getting really ticked off, and he kept on saying, you know, you can't order pizza here, you can't order pizza here. So finally, Pat decided to take their order. And then one time I think Tracy and Parker, we were all at Pat's house, and he got another call, and then he started taking orders. And we're thinking, what's he doing? And then people started calling, wondering where their pizza was. So, that's one story. Another really funny story. So we were in Mr. Smith's oceanography class. Tracy and I got kicked out. Imagine that. And we were sitting there laughing, and we were thinking, you know, it's really not complete without Pat. So Tracy and I found a piece of paper, and we wrote, Red Rover, send Pat Foley on over. So then we slipped it underneath. There was a partition in the science room, and we slipped it underneath, and all of a sudden we hear the silence, and then we hear the whole class erupting. Clearly the teacher had read it out loud. So then the next thing we see is Pat Foley coming running over, and we're like, thanks guys! So then moving on to college, Tracy and I lived together, and Pat would send us packages, and we would see what he had done and what he had accomplished overseas and how he was doing, and it felt like we were so close even though we were oceans apart. And I really don't know where I'm going with this other than
That's wonderful. We miss him.
That is so wonderful. And we miss him, Eric. Cheers to Pat and his life, and it's so nice to be here and celebrate his life with him. So, here's to Pat.
Story, other than how passionate Pat was with everything, really. I remember before I learned about MapQuest, there was a knock at my door, and I opened it, and it was Pat Foley. And I'm like, who on earth did you find me? He said, this is who they call MapQuest. He was supposed I was like, dude, you really? Like, I could go on and on, but he just really, for every 24 hours, he lived 48. And that's how I'd like to strive to do the same. keep it for everyone.
And my days in Florida were just filled with adventure. Kayaking, running, bicycling. You really need to live life to the fullest. And I mean, I was in the best shape of my life when I lived there. I lost 20 pounds. I was vegan. I was feeling good. But there's one story. The first time I ever went kayaking, and we took the kayaks out to Calabasas Island, and we went through this little main road area. It was like this narrow. And I only tipped over once, so I was proud of myself about that. And then we get out on the ocean and going along, we see an island in the distance, and we're like, oh, let's go there. We didn't realize how far of a trek it was. So we're out in the open ocean in the channel, and I'm like freaking out. I almost had a panic attack. And he's sitting there singing Gilligan's Island the whole time. And I was so mad when we landed on that island. I was like, I could kill you. But he was amazing. And he really lived life to the fullest and really changed me in a lot of ways. So I want to honor him and really getting out there and enjoying life and having an adventure every day in his honor. So thank you.
One night he came to us with the keys to a truck he found. So we spent an hour pushing this truck because we didn't want to start it by this house. We spent an hour pushing it up. First, the kids that I hate today, the kids that I look at like, you punks, that is exactly who we were. We were those kids like that I hate. Yeah, they're not as bad as we were. Like we did. So we push this truck up the driveway and we get it to the top finally, and I don't remember who drove, but just for police report purposes, I don't remember who started it. But we took it four-wheeling, and at one point somebody got out. I think Eric got out, and Pat and I proceeded like Beavis and Butthead to drive it off of I don't know, like a 7-foot cliff. And there we are, hanging in our seat belts like this. Realizing we don't have a vehicle anymore, and we're out in the middle of nowhere, we have to walk. So luckily it wasn't too far from your house. I won't say where. Pat was able to lead us over hills and through the woods and back to the Foley residence. But yeah, when you say live life to the fullest, I want you to know that like it's not like always like this. Like he went hard. He went hard. That's it. That's it.
So I don't have any real funny story with a punchline, or anything like that. I just did want to say that, first of all, this is very, very clean sample of people that Pat touched. He had so many more friends, obviously. I'm sure that they're sad that couldn't be here tonight, but just one thing that I really always respected about Pat was that he always knew who he was going to be. He always knew what he wanted to be. He wasn't going to change for anyone at all. Not at all. Not even a little bit. Not one little bit of his personality was going to be changed to make somebody else happy. And, when I say he knew what he wanted to be, I remember, like clockwork, I don't know what days they have lacrosse practice. I remember what days they have lacrosse practice. Well, I don't know if you know what you do with lacrosse practice, but you run at lacrosse practice. That's all you do. Maybe a couple ground balls here and there. But like clockwork, 6 o'clock, you could be driving down Central Avenue. Pat would have all his gear on his long pole, and he'd be running down the street, Central Avenue, running to practice, and he'd be running home from practice after sweating for 2 hours out on the field. The dude was incredible, and this whole photography thing is kind of new to me. I didn't really even know it was that much. I knew he had a camera, and I knew he liked taking pictures, but this stuff's really beautiful. Thanks, Pat. I'm glad we could be here for you.
Boredom left. It was action. It was going on. It was adventure. Shit was real. I tried to be the voice of reason most of the time. But the second he said, "You have no say," that was that. We were in the middle of DC, Anacostia, didn't matter. Go-go blasting, trucks. It was just, adventure was on. So it was good times, and I'm missing it.
I'm getting up here twice, but listening to all these stories, it just brings back a couple of memories. And when Tracy said he lived 48 hours out of every 24, she was on the way. And with these stories that y'all are telling, can you even imagine how many times I said, "Pat, that's got to be the stupidest thing you've ever done"? If I said that once, I conservatively said it 150 times. But the one thing that I said about Patrick, and never really to him, it was about him, and it pretty much sums up everything that was said here today. I always told people in trying to describe him, I said, you know, if you could shrink Patrick down and put him in a ping pong ball, he could find something to do. And that's the truth. And I thank everybody for coming out here with all the kind words.
Oh, there's Aaron.
We don't have fireworks.
It's the Bay Sox.
Patrick Foley!
Oh my gosh! Where's the cops? Come here. Jake and I both turned. Where are the cops?
Aw. Yeah!